Hi folks, Dan and Bob here. It's time for Barrett Paleopark 2 episode. And today we'll be making progress in the park and starting to establish a place for our first vivarium animal. This is where we left it last time with a little more foliage in place. And our Psittacosaurus habitat is very well along, and our forecourt is got lots of new vegetation, and we've got a clump of people hanging out here. So we've got to do something to spread them out. Before taking a look at that, we're going to run down and jump over this wall. I put in the staff break room, and in between I have tried to blend it into the staff center so that they look of a piece. You can see we've got a cashier hanging out inside, standing next to the table. Don't know why. You know, really ought to be sitting. Maybe he's just standing because everybody's standing right now. So the first part of today is, I mentioned last video that the information screen was a temporary placeholder. And this is what I was planning on doing. I grabbed the sign from out in front using the special pieces, and now I'm using them to fill this out into an information stand. Obviously it's been shrunk down from the one out in front, and now I'm using the back piece in various configurations to fill in the rest of it and get it all lined up to that that information screen. The special pieces with their sort of universal, what's the word I want? Universal texture means that when you bring pieces together, they don't show their seams particularly because of that universal texture. The game reads them all as what they are, as you can see right there on the side of the structure I'm building there. But I did need to get the pieces down so they don't interfere with the information screen or the slope of the stone piece there. Took a little while to fuss around and get it right, but eventually it worked out. The idea here is that I will use this for various habitats around the park, so that there is something custom in that regard for the park. In between, I've been doing some additional research. I've got the phenotype selection one picked. Our quarantine small bay has finished, and I have finished the first pathology research above that because I'm headed for the bird flu, which, since this is a park with dinosaurs, could be potentially devastating to the park. I've also done the next management research, and so that finishes out that track. And I've started the fencing research because the animal after this will need it, and I wanted that out of the way. What are we looking at here? Oh yeah, we're going through them again. And also I now want to start the Stone Age theme. And that's the pieces I wanted for the Psittacosaurus building, but I'll also be using it for other buildings as well. We finally have gotten enough money that it seemed reasonable to do that. So the first step is setting a circulation island, not island, but a circulation path here coming off the main circular path that goes around the Psittacosaurus habitat. And there it is. And put in an empty vivarium and get our animals started. While we're waiting on the animals being started and in. We'll do some prep on the vivarium itself. The idea here is I don't want to use the built-in walls for this. So they all have to be set to null. And I looked at the background and decided I didn't want it because it brought back those metal pieces that frame the whole thing. Next step is pathing to let the guests get right up to this vivarium so they can see the animal very closely. It's a small animal, so that needed to be put in and cleaned up to the edge, and then drop the vivarium a little bit so it blends in better with what I will be doing that I have in mind. The research was completed for that fence, so I acknowledged that and wanted to get back to working on the vivarium. That theme research being completed means I'm going to jump over and change out the pieces on the Psittacosaurus building. When you work with a modular group, you can select all of a figure type to change. I did not want to do that with the outside of this because I wanted the interior walls to stay the concrete. So the exterior walls are being changed out to the Stone Age stone and then recolored to match the rocks and the habitat, or at least get close, right? And then the roof I wanted changed out for a living roof. The Stone Age theme provides that as an option. And in this case, I probably could have worked at the higher level and just grabbed all the roof pieces and changed them right there. But I forgot about that at the time. So I had to select all the pieces and then make the change for the material. There it is. So this now blends the building much more subtly into the landscape. And as we back out and drop our point of view, you can see that it makes it much more subtle. Briefly. Well, our animals have cooked, so they're going in. And they won't escape the vivarium because that's part of the system. But I wanted them in to get them ready for the guests to come in. I actually ended up building this on pause, or at least this chunk of it, and so it didn't really help anything to get the animals in to get more guests in. I wanted to leave the openings to the burrows visible, even though I'm cladding the whole thing in rock. My first thought had also been to have the cladding be more of a deserty color since I'm using the desert thing, but the rocks as provided were this color, so it seemed to make sense to have all the rocks the same color. It's a little fussy getting the pieces of rock to let our guests still see into these things. So there's a little bit of extra time spent putting that in. The park is doing pretty well still, which is good. And you can see I'm trying to follow the line of the ground so that the rocks don't occlude any visitor's view of the animals. Those two sides are intended to be low, and for the back two sides I wanted taller walls, and they had to be manufactured. I saw my keeper running in to bring supplies to this vivarium. I did manage to keep forgetting about supplies, and so my stock isn't what it really should be. Having put the arch in, though, it was time to bring in a door because the triangle is showing you where the keeper needs to get into the building, and they can basically act through the doors. So putting a door here lets it look closed off while still letting the keeper have his access. And there it pretty much is. A little adjustment and we're set to go. I wanted to close off the walls here and put some vegetation in. We're working under the flashlight right now, and you saw the moon in the sky there. And that's pretty much the habitat. It's time to put in a little bit of fencing to keep our guests off the grass. This particular location that I'm putting in right now is going to need a gate in it. Don't remember if I kept the video of that or not. But to make it easier for the staff to get from the staff areas to the back, yeah, there's the gate, and one on either side of that fence. And since I had the time and money, it was time to trick out the Psittacosaurus elevated rock section here to make it look a little less stark by putting in some mulch from the gardening menu and then bringing plants in to hide the rough edges and also to bring color onto the rock and make it look, as I said, less stark. What else was I doing in this build besides trying to let money accumulate without running the park, which was actually kind of dumb of me. Time to bring in some trees and sticks to give the habitat a little more life and interest. This is something I often forget to do in habitats, in part because there's only so much you can do with the sticks that exist. Just feels like we ought to have more options than what we have, even though that's a pretty good selection. Our Psittacosauruses are growing up now that the game's running again, and the vivarium modular pieces offer some new options, like the last two stumps I've been putting in, and now the new water lets you see underneath there, so that's great. As you can see, the bird's flute treatment is still running because I forgot to have it on play, but I also decided, since I had the money, to bring in 2 storage units for merchant meals, putting them down, setting them, 1 to each, and then changing their theme color to remind me visually what the building is, rather than having them look identical. I have plans to expand this in the future. That's why they're going right here. Ultimately, there will be a full warehouse back there. But again, as this is the early park stages, no budget for it yet. So if you're liking how these videos are going with the builds and such, and putting in the necessary composting, and changing vegetation around it, you know the drill, guys. Like, subscribe, comment. One other thing I wanted to finish off in this was that railing for the Psittacosaurus viewing, now that the info sign is in there, and that was made, as you saw, by grabbing the previous pieces, shrinking them down, and making a more aesthetic railing that matches the modular piece that's underneath. We're coming pretty much up to the end of it, so a little cruise around looking at where things stand in the habitat and in the park as a whole, to see the progress we made in the course of this video. So there it is, and a little overhead to see how the park is developing, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for stopping by. So till next time, be kind to each other, take care, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye now.